Welcome to the Build Your Private Practice podcast, a space for Canadian therapists who want to support others, make an impact, and build a sustainable practice that works for them too. I'm your host, Liane Wood, a registered psychotherapist, group practice owner, and business mentor, and I'm here to help you build a private practice that allows you to keep doing the work you love without burning out. Because the people who need your help the most are counting on you, and you deserve a practice that supports you while you support them. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Build Your Private Practice podcast, the place for Canadian mental health practitioners who want to build a private practice that supports their life, not drains it. I'm your host, Liane Wood, and today we're talking about something almost every practice owner I know quietly struggles with: letting go of the work that's eating your week. Here's a number that stopped me this week. In a recent survey of business owners, nearly 3/4 said they work more than 40 hours a week. Owners of larger operations were averaging 52 hours a week. And when the researchers looked at who reported the highest stress, it wasn't the people with the biggest teams or the busiest schedules. It was the people who said they only delegate sometimes or rarely, the ones doing everything themselves. So if you are listening to this on a Monday with a knot in your stomach about the week ahead, the intake emails you haven't answered, the invoices you haven't sent, the website copy that's been almost done since last spring, this episode is for you, because I want to make a case today that the path to a practice that supports your life instead of swallowing it runs straight through a skill most of us were never taught: delegation. And I know I can already hear the objection because it's the same one I hear from practice owners all the time. And it's the same one that showed up loudest in that survey. When business owners were asked what stops them from handing off work, the number one answer by a wide margin was concerns about quality or errors. Almost half named that. They worry that if they let go of something, it won't be done to their standard, or a mistake will slip through and it will reflect on them. For us in the mental health private practice, that worry has an extra layer. Our reputation is the practice. When a prospective client sends that first nervous email, the way it gets answered is part of their very first experience of care. So, of course, we're protective. Of course, we hesitate. The other barriers people named were familiar too: a limited budget to hire help, not having the internal systems, not feeling like there's even enough time to step back and figure out what to delegate. That last one is the cruel little trap, isn't it? You're too busy to get help, so you stay too busy. So let me reframe the whole thing, because I think we start from the wrong question. We ask, what can I afford to give away? And the better question is, what is the work that only I can do? You're a clinician. You've trained for years to sit in the room with another human being in their hardest moments and hold it with skill. That is the work only you can do. And alongside it, there's the real strategic work of a practice owner deciding who you serve, shaping your services, setting your fees, choosing the direction of the whole thing. And that's the judgment work, the gray zone work, the work with no obvious right answer, and that's yours to keep. Almost everything else is a candidate for someone else's hands. The appointment reminders, the invoicing, the insurance receipts, the inbox triage, booking and rescheduling, formatting your newsletter if you have one, updating the website. These things feel like they have to be you because they've always been you. But it's always been me is not the same as it has to be me. There's a simple tool I love for sorting this out, and you may have seen it. It's a little 4-box grid. You take everything on your plate and you sort it on 2 questions. Is it important, and is it urgent? The things that are important and urgent, you do now. The things that are important but not urgent, your marketing, your planning, building out a new service, those you schedule and protect time for, because they're the ones that actually move your practice forward, and they're always the first to get crowded out. The things that are urgent but not truly important for you specifically to do, that is your delegate box. Who else could do this? And the things that are neither, you just stop. Delete them. Let them go. Now, here's the part I really want you to sit with because it changed how I think about all of this. When owners in that survey pointed to why they hadn't delegated, a lot of them said money. I can't afford to hire. But when the researchers looked closer, the bigger opportunity often wasn't more budget. It was a better process with the help you already have or could reasonably afford. Because a lot of us delegate badly. We pop our head out of the therapy room between clients, fire off a rushed, hey, can you also handle this? And then wonder why it comes back wrong. That is not delegating. That's just interrupting yourself and someone else. So let's talk about how to do it well because there's a real skill here and it's completely learnable. The first thing to understand is that delegation isn't one thing, it comes in levels. At the most basic level, you're handing someone a clearly defined task. Here's exactly what I need, here's how to do it, and here's when it's due. Think of a standard client reminder email. You can hand over the whole template and the schedule. One setup, you delegate research. Look into 3 scheduling platforms and tell me what each costs and what they do. A step beyond that, you ask for a recommendation. Look into this and tell me which one you choose and why. Higher still, you let someone decide and simply keep you informed. And at the very top, for the things they're genuinely good at, you let them run it start to finish without checking in at all. The mistake most of us make is jumping straight to the top level on day one, handing someone something complex and then being disappointed when they didn't read our mind, or staying stuck at the bottom forever, hovering over every tiny task. The art is matching the level to the person and the task and moving people up the ladder as trust builds. Let me make this picture concrete. I want you to think about a solo therapist, and we'll call her Maya, who's spending 5 or 6 hours a week on client communication and intake. Every inquiry email, every reschedule, every do you take my insurance question, all of it lands on her, and it's fracturing her week and honestly making her a little resentful. So Maya brings on a part-time virtual assistant, but here's what she does differently. Instead of just dumping tasks, she and the VA sit down and define a clear scope. The VA will handle first response to all inquiry emails using templates Maya approves. They agree on what a good response time looks like, inquiries answered within 1 business day. They document the intake steps so there's an actual process, not just what lives in Maya's head, and they agree to check in once a week. The first few weeks aren't perfect. The VA words something in a way Maya wouldn't have. But instead of yanking the task back, which is what most of us do the second something isn't exactly right, Maya treats it as information. She tweaks the template, clarifies the tone she's going for, and lets the VA keep going. And within a couple of months, that whole inquiry and intake stream is running without her. She's freed up 5 hours a week. The responses are actually faster than when she was squeezing them in between sessions. And she's back to spending her energy on clients and on growing the practice. The thing that made that work more than the hire itself was the regular check-in. And I want to spend our last few minutes here because if you take one practical thing from today, let it be this. The humble, boring, standing one-on-one meeting is the engine of good delegation. And here's how to run one so it actually helps. First, make it regular, an actual recurring time on both calendars, not we'll catch up when we can. Second, and this is the hard one, don't cancel it. You will be tempted every single week because a client thing will come up and the one-on-one will feel like the thing that can slide. But when you cancel it, you send the message that it doesn't matter. And all those little questions that would have been handled in that meeting start spilling into your day, interrupting you, breaking your focus. So protect the meeting. Third, keep a shared running agenda. A simple shared doc that works, right? Where both of you drop items in during the week so nothing gets lost and you both know what the meeting is about. Fourth, write down what got delegated, the deadline, who owns it, so that next week you're not relying on memory. Fifth, be crystal clear about priorities and expectations and make it genuinely safe to ask questions. People often feel embarrassed to admit they're unsure, so they guess. And guessing is exactly where the errors you were so worried about actually come from. And sixth, start each meeting by following up on what you handed off last time. That's how things actually move instead of quietly stalling. And notice what is happening here, because this is the part that surprises people. Delegation isn't just about offloading your to-do list. Done well, it develops the people around you. It gives your VA, your associate, your admin a chance to grow and take ownership. It clears the bottleneck where everything has to route through you before anything can move, and it gives you back the one thing you can't buy more of: capacity. Capacity for the deep clinical work, for the bigger decisions, for actually being present in your own life. So here's what I'd love for you to do this week. Don't hire anyone yet. Don't overhaul anything. Just do the sorting exercise. Take a piece of paper, write down everything you did in your practice this past week, and put each of them in one of those 4 boxes. Do, schedule, delegate, or delete. Just seeing it laid out will tell you where your hours are going and where the leaks are. That's step 1, and everything else builds from there. Now, before I let you go, I have something I am genuinely excited about. This year, Build Your Private Practice turns 10 years, and we're throwing a celebration on Friday, September 25th, in person in Toronto and live streamed online, so you can join us from anywhere. It's a chance to be in a room or a virtual room with a whole community of practitioners building practices that support their lives instead of running them ragged. And I would love for you to be there. Mark Friday, September 25th in your calendar right now, and I'll make sure you know how to grab your spot. Don't miss this one. Thanks so much for being here today. If this episode names something you've been carrying, share it with a colleague who needs to hear it too. And I'll see you next Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Build Your Private Practice podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a fellow Canadian therapist who needs this. And remember, the work you do matters. Keep showing up, keep holding space, and keep building a practice that works for you. If you're looking for practical tools or support to grow your practice with more clarity and confidence, head to buildyourprivatepractice.ca. There's lots waiting for you there. I'll see you next time.